All right, folks, we're going to get up out of here. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for someone else. And know that even though...
Dude! I have to tell you guys about this story. So yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before we do something like this? So I get up and I'm about to take the dog out for a walk. Well, I hear some moaning and some noise, and I look in here and I look at my son and I'm like, he's not moving, but I hear this sound. So I stopped and I'm literally listening. So I put Biscuit's harness on or whatever right before I take him out, and I hear this sound of moaning again, and something tells me to look outside a little side window. So I look out the side window and that's crazy and creepy that this happened. So I look out the side window to see, I see a foot at our door, and I see the shoe like a little bit off this side, and I'm like, oh my God, there's somebody right at our door, like right at the door. I go in Anthony and I say, I think there's a homeless person at our door. Like if I opened the door, he would have fallen on my feet. I don't know if that's what happened.
Close.
But so Anthony says, okay, take the dog into the bathroom over there, and then he came out and did whatever he did or what have you. But it was a homeless person at the foot of the door. If I had not paid attention to it, there's no telling. I know that he was... I know my reaction could have been really bad. Like I could have just instantly gone into stomping somebody. If I opened the door and there's somebody right there, it would have scared the shit out. It would have been really bad.
And you would have been in your right.
If he hadn't been moaning and making this sound to where I looked out the window first. Now I can't help but to look out the window before I open the door every morning. And I want everybody to do that now. Like, look out the window if you can. Look at your doorstep to make sure there's nobody there. That was some scary shit.
Yeah, it was. And you had every right to be scared of that scenario. And had you opened the door and reacted the way that you just spoke about reacting, you would have been within your right.
I know, but that's still sad.
It's sad. But yeah, I
they want to know what you did.
Because I was still lying in the bed because I overslept and I just was staying in the bed at that particular time. And she came back in and told me, hey, I think a homeless person is outside our door. And so as she mentioned, I said, all right, let's take Biscuit back here to this bathroom, because as you all heard, whenever something happens at the door, this damn dog decides to bark.
I mean,
every single time. So what I wanted to do was just try to neutralize the scenario. I didn't want to raise any alarms on any side of it. So when I opened the door, the dude was lying there right at the foot of the door. He didn't even move. He didn't even move. He didn't even move. He was in pretty bad shape. He didn't even move. He was cold, and he was in pain.
It was a frost morning.
Yeah, it was really cold that morning, and he was in pain. She heard the moaning.
Yeah,
because he was in legit pain. So when I opened the door, he was steady trying to sleep, but you could tell he was sleeping through pain. And I didn't tell you this, but his foot was pretty mangled.
Oh, because that's why he had the shoe off. Because I didn't even see the condition of the foot.
Yeah.
I just saw a foot, and I literally looked over and saw a shoe where the foot wasn't in there.
Yeah, his foot was pretty mangled. And so I politely asked him to wake up, And then I politely asked him to just leave. You know, I said, hey, you got to get out of here. Just like that. And he looked at me and he's waking up, and you could see him clearing the fog and fighting pain, because you know how it is when something hurts. A lot of times you can't even think straight.
And I don't even know I don't know how much pain he was in. And you can't even offer him anything.
And that's the thing.
You can't,
part of me, I helped stuff, but I can't. I didn't want to help stray cats. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, you know, I could have said, okay, here's some Advil. Yeah. This will help you get to wherever, but then they would never leave. No. Or they would come back like night after night after night.
Exactly.
You can't help. It was sad, but so, I'm glad that he was moaning, unfortunately, because I don't know if I opened the door and I just Biscuit would have lost his mind, and I would have lost my mind, and I could have done some stomping and kicking and for nothing.
And it wouldn't have warranted it. It's you wouldn't have been wrong, but he didn't necessarily need that. So I got him to wake up and got him to leave. And like I said, his foot was in pretty bad shape. John Helm in the chat says, "Can you call an ambulance?" I missed that one. I didn't even think to call an ambulance. All I was thinking about was safety and getting him away from here. But then there was also the thought in my head of, I really don't want to call anybody, because out here a lot of times the homeless people are treated pretty poorly, and they don't have to be treated that way when the authorities get involved. So I'd rather he just go away, because there's homeless people living right behind this building there in the creek and under the bridge. And they don't bother anybody. Yeah. That's just,
you've seen them. I haven't seen them. I just was glad that he was moaning.
You know, and
it's
so
sad, but I'm glad that he was moaning.
I sent him on his way, and because in my head, like I said, I was thinking about just the safety of the family, making sure nobody's going to get harmed. And once I figured, okay, this is under control, send him on his way, and I just prayed for him as he walked away. You know, because all I could think about is
it could have been us.
The shit that I lived through before meeting you, living in my car, and the shit that we went through in 2024, trying to find somewhere to stay.
It's easy to happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. I still think about the shit that I dealt with trying to work with the housing authority here in the county, because we're going to be freaking homeless, and all of the bureaucratic red tape that I was jumping through. You know, I still haven't gotten an answer on that shit. And it's because they are overwhelmed. And so I didn't want to just go out and have rage on this cat. I don't know what this dude's lived through.
Yeah. He didn't. And if he didn't cause any problems for us, I mean, he was just there. Yeah. And he didn't try to get in or anything like that. It's just really sad.
It was sad. He was at our door and not at the neighbor's door, because the neighbor's door, it's a vacant apartment. Our door had a little warmth coming off of it.
And that's crazy.
It makes total sense. It makes total sense. Our door had a little warmth coming off of it.
How, that's where though? Because there's no warmth.
In comparison,
it made me wonder, like, why did he pick our door? There's no warmth. There was no heat on. We don't sleep like that. I didn't turn it on. It was cold inside of our apartment.
In comparison to an empty building versus one over here with our body. Our body heat's in here. I got this stuff running in here. There's heat. There's ambient heat in our place. In comparison to a building that's totally dead, nothing in it to keep anything insulated, you know. So that's what he did. So prayed for him. I believe he's going to be all right, and that's all I could do. So with that said, pardon me. Thank y'all for being here. As I was saying before we sign out of here, be sure to do something nice for yourself, because you deserve it. Okay, do something nice for yourself. It's okay. Have some grace and do something nice for someone else out there. even if it's just offering them a minute of your ear time. Just listen. You never know how far that goes for somebody's day. And then know that it's okay to love you some you. We shall see y'all later. Take it easy.
Good night.